sport, so it's about what the fans want to see. And nothing, man. After the Bostwick fight, Nate reached out to me. I want to say it was like maybe February, like end of February, possibly even March. And he's like, "Listen, I want to talk to you about your next fight. Dave's got some big news for you. Are you free to talk tomorrow?" And in my eyes, they were going to make the Thiago Alves versus the Perry fight, like I said on the last interview. And then they pretty much promised me one or the two guys. It was a rat race between me. Richman was fighting for a number one contender spot against Rickles. And it was just kind of like whichever, like if Richmond comes out unscathed, he gets to fight Thiago, you fight Perry, and then it was just kind of a toss up. I didn't know when I was fighting. I didn't know if I was going to be on the May 21st card, and then finally they called me back, told me that they wanted me for the Hard Rock, and then all of a sudden there were, from some sources that I had, I came to find out that they were trying to make a Perry versus Yuli fight. So I kind of reached out to Yuli and I was like, "Listen, my brother, kind of a dick move because me and you spoke at the last event, and I told you that I was in line to fight Perry, or at least that's what they were telling me. And if they were telling you the same thing, man, at least if me and you could call each other brothers like we are, it would have been honest on your part to at least tell me that that was the route that they were trying to take with you as well." 100% my fault. Yuli actually did tell me, because then he's like, "Bro, I told you that they shafted me with the Julian Lane fight the first time that I was supposed to fight Yuli." And then he kind of like gave me a phrase that he had already said, and I remembered. I was like, "Oh shit, we actually did have this conversation." So I was like, "Damn, well, my bad." And he just told me, he's like, "Listen, bro, whoever it goes to, it goes to. I wouldn't be mad if they give it to you, and I would expect the same vice versa." And I'm like, "Dude, 100%." Just honesty and clarity. So we kind of spoke for maybe 10 minutes, and we were like, "Listen, bro, if me and you keep dusting people, eventually we're gonna have to fight each other for the title." And we've talked before, I mean, we were at different events, and he told me that he had a contract with my name on it. He's just kind of like, "Nah, bro, I don't want to fight Frankie unless it's for a title." We're not necessarily teammates, like we don't train at the same gym, but we're definitely,
Yeah,
we
you
definitely
guys are
consider each other
boys.
brothers. We're boys. He called me right after the coma. He gave me good wishes, speedy recovery, and then he was always there for me. I actually have a part in how him and Ashley met. Funny enough, so it was we're close, and I respect the living dog shit out of Yuli. He's a very charismatic guy, no bullshit, no nonsense. I don't really respect this like new age, um, kind of like pull somebody else down to pull yourself afloat type generation where it's like Joe Schmo comes into bare knuckle, has one fight, and he sees the person next to him getting all this shine, and he feels like he should be getting this shine. Like people were sitting there talking a bunch of shit about Fames because Fames is getting all this promotion. I don't care. It's got nothing to do with my fights. I'm not gonna be upset because bare knuckle's not promoting me. If they're promoting the next guy, maybe they see something in the next guy. I want to let my hands do the talking. So when they reached out to me for the fight, I always thought there was gonna be Thiago and Perry. Then all of a sudden, it ended up being you're fighting Thiago next. So Thiago, all of a sudden, there was some kind of disagreement. I'm guessing when he moved to when he switched management, Abe probably did whatever the fuck he could to try to mess up the plans of Thiago fighting again. So long story short, Thiago ended up wanting more money to fight me, and he wanted more money to fight Richmond too. But from what I understand,
And
the
that's what
money was
Tiago
fine.
told me. Tiago, I mean, he didn't get into too much detail, but he said it was definitely a
Yeah,
money thing. He wanted to,
yeah.
it's at that point in his career when he wants more money to fight. And I
And
get it.
and I
You know,
understand. Hey, listen, I respect Thiago a lot. I mean, I was in ATT for a little bit, and I respected him. I respect what he's done for the sport. I'm a little bit pissed off with him because of something that shit. Uh, I'm gonna try not to curse. I'm gonna try to keep it all down. But that Monglord cocksucker that he's got as a manager, Abdelaziz, posted and he reposted saying, "Oh, all these guys are second place. This is the real champion." And I'm just kind of like, "What the fuck you taking shine away from the other fighters that actually paved their way in bare knuckle and got to where they're at? You did what you did in bare knuckle. Great, I respect it. I like what he's done. I like the two fights that he's had in bare knuckle. But at the same time, like my man, you left. Like I didn't force you to fucking leave. You left. You didn't want to fight me or Richmond for the money that you already agreed on a contract. That's not my fucking problem, and that's your issue. So if you really don't think that I'm the champion after I just smoked the guy that you ended up, getting dropped by and having a war with, why are you taking the shine away from me saying that I'm not a valid champion and I'm number two to you? If I'm number two to you, why don't you come here and prove it? But if you're not going to come here and prove it, then shut the fuck up and move on to MMA. It's not anything personal towards Thiago. I don't think me and him are ever going to fight. I respect the shit out of him as a man, as a husband, and as a father. But it's just kind of like that really blindsided me because I'm like, yo, hold on, man. Like you're uh, I respect the integrity that Thiago brings to the sport, but now if you're out of bare knuckle, you know, you didn't vacate your belt, you're waiting to get stripped, but you're out of bare knuckle. Why are you taking the shine away from us? I'm undefeated. I'm 5-0. I've fought every single person they put in front of me. I've showed up to a fight, and this is something that I kind of wanted to get into because a lot of people asked me who I was referring to when I said a bunch of other pussies in the crowd, but the guy that no-showed the commission the day of my fight in November 12th that was supposed to fight me, that said he would fight anybody anywhere, he actually fought on the card that I just won at. So he actually fought for Bkfc 26. So that's who the fuck I was talking about. Now, to not start rivals or to start shit between other camps, because this motherfucker knows exactly who I am, and not try to promote a fight with somebody else, which I really couldn't care less. It's actually in another weight class. I'm not going to get too much in detail, but with the whole Thiago Alves thing, it's like, my guy, there's no need for you to take shine away from me saying that I'm not the champion or I'm number two just because, your manager decided to post something stupid like that. Abdelaziz doesn't know shit about bare knuckle. And,
I don't even think he's attended a bare knuckle event. Not that I've seen.
I don't think he has either. I just think he's sucking his customer's dick, which is what he knows how to do so well. He's a fucking certified hooker. And I'm sorry that I'm cursing. I'm not trying to. I just have very little respect for Abdelaziz. And I understand there's a lot of fighters that love him. There's a lot of fighters that love other managers that I couldn't stand. And I'm not really trying to go after him personally, but it's just that kind of pissed me off, man. There's no need. It's almost like a lot of people give Lorenzo Hunt shit for jumping in the cage after Lombard's big win. That's exactly the same shit that you're doing, man. It's like let a fighter have his moment. I've worked my fucking ass off. I've damn near died for this company. Matter of fact, I've gotten injuries almost every fight that I've been in, and I work my ass off and I keep moving forward. And even Yuli, like you're discrediting, you're delegitimizing something that you've also accomplished. If you're delegitimizing something like a world title, something like a belt, buddy, like that was your achievement. That was your claim to fame. What the fuck else did Thiago win in terms of a large organization? Bkfc is the mecca of bare knuckle. This is the organization for bare knuckle. Of course, there's other organizations out there, but everybody knows Bkfc the most. It's almost like, Bkfc is UFC of bare knuckle, and BYB is Bellator bare knuckle. Of course, there's fighters in Bellator that could beat fighters in the UFC without a fucking doubt. But at the same time, the mecca right now, at this day and age is Bkfc. So I just feel like him delegitimizing the title that I now hold is just kind of childish. But it is what it is.
I could understand where you're coming from with that, but at the end of the day, he's not the guy that's getting in the ring. You're the guys that are doing it. You guys got the balls. You guys are the ones putting it all on the line. You and Yuli, I mean, I got to be honest. For me, I'm like, wow, this is going to be a fucking good fight because both of you guys got heart, both of you guys got skill. So not to pick favorites or anything like that, but honestly, I was just like, wow, it's almost like a toss-up for me. And I say that respectfully. But the fight definitely went a different way. What's going on in your head when that bell rung? Did you just feel a level of confidence, like, you know what, this is my fight to win? Like, what was going on in your head when that bell rung for that first and only round?
So I'm gonna break some news that kind of like happened to me, which my coaches and corners and everybody wanted me to pull out, that I kind of wasn't really supposed to say anything, but I'm supposed to be getting an MRI. However, I'm traveling halfway across the fucking world, so I'm pretty sure by the time that I get back, this injury is going to be too far along to even do surgery for. I tore my ACL and my meniscus 3 weeks before the fight. I received the contract on the 23 days out from the fight. I remember because it was Friday. It was shit, man. I gotta look at when I signed the contract, but I remember counting because the next day was a sparring day, and then my teammates asked me, "Hey, how long do you have?" And I was in the gym, but I wasn't really in the gym, and the reason why is because I work so much that if I take time off to drive down to Kendall or Del Rey, it really takes a lot out of me. financially, and it's kind of hard, especially because I'm having a hard time finding employees, finding people to work. Long story short, um, I signed the contract like 23, at most 24 days out from the fight, and the next day I go to sparring and I ripped my fucking knee apart, and it's an underlying injury. I thought it was because I had an MCL injury from skiing, and it gave out on me, and I was like, "Fuck, man!" But I was able to keep sparring. You know, I was like, whatever. You know, it is what it is. I've felt this before. I've trained with Romero, and he went for a very dangerous takedown. He went for a scissor sweep. The way that he does it, which is very weird to explain. A lot of Greco guys, they know what I'm talking. I mean, not Greco, sorry, freestyle guys, they know what I'm talking about. But and I've had my knee give out before, but you know, the next day's a little swollen. The day after that, you know, it goes down, and I can kind of keep training. So I kept sparring on it, and then it ended up just giving out on me just standing. And when it gave out on me that time, I was fucked. And I went to a combat night, and I was on crutches that night, and I was on crutches the next day. And I'm like, dude, I need to do something because I'm not pulling out of a fight. I never pulled out of a fight in my life. I need to try to make it to this fight somehow. And I ended up getting an MRI on the 6th of June, and I'll send you the MRI so you can post it, you know, just so people can kind of see. Because at this point, I'm pretty sure that I'm at a point past surgery. I just need to do physical therapy for it. But I ended up spending an arm and a leg on PRP, on exosomes, anything that I could to try to rehab this knee. But my coach looked at me and he's just like, "You're not fighting. This is the most important fight of your life. You're undefeated, and you're fighting somebody that's aggressive as shit. You know, you're fighting somebody that's gonna run at you. You're gonna have to use your movement. You can't sit there and stay in the pocket and just walk this guy down." So nobody wanted me to take the fight, and it's not because they didn't believe in me. My coach Manolo Lopez, he's probably one of my biggest believers. My teammates definitely believe in me, but they just didn't want me to injure myself. They didn't want to hurt. They didn't want me to hurt myself. You know, they were part of.
You, bro.
They're looking out for me. They were part of the coma incident, you know, and they were like, we were in tears, or sorry, the gym was in tears when everything was going on. And I remember actually when I woke up, my buddy was on a live feed, and one of the first like Instagram things that I clicked because my phone blew up when I like finally turned it back on after I woke up from the coma was my buddy Marcos Laredo, which is like a brother of mine, crying because he was doing an interview, a live interview, and he like saw that I had like logged on, or like that I had joined the live feed. So I think it was more of them just looking out for me. So I was just kind of like, nah. The whole camp, it was me training on a brace and me trying to convince my team and Delray Boxing Gym, and then trying to convince everybody down in Kendall, like, no, I'm fine. But I'm coming to the gym in crutches. I have a hinged brace on. I can't move. I can't walk. And I'm only doing upper body. I'm only doing pull-ups. I'm only doing push-ups. I'm only doing bicep curls, you know, back, like stuff to not try to bulk up too much, but stuff that I can use, you know, muscle that I can actually use in a fight. So I did everything that I could. I did cold lasers every single day. I did ice baths every single day. I took anything that I could to try to rehab this injury that's not synthetic, because I would never fucking take anything that's gas or, you know, any performance enhancing drugs that are synthetic. Also because my natural testosterone production is pretty fucking low. And I know that if I screw my receptors, I would probably end up fucking it up even more. So this was a very difficult camp. So when this injury finally happened, I was like, you know what? I'm going to give myself a week. I'm still going to have about 2.5 weeks left to train by that point, and then I'll make a decision then, you know? So,
bro, you deal with a lot of adversity, man. Like you just keep going, bro. Like that's one thing I got to, you know, obviously, you know, I respect you, bro. But one key thing I respect about you is that you fucking, no matter what is going on in your life, you're still fighting, man. No matter what, so you're fighting. Yeah, bro. So it's a lot. I didn't know that, man. Thank you for sharing that with me. I got a lot of respect for you, bro.
I didn't tell anybody until after the event, and even Don Muzi was sitting there asking me to do the fucking crab walk or the duck walk before the event, and I'm like, you know, bro, you know, like, I'm tired. I just went up some stairs. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to talk it out. But long story short, end up doing the shit that they asked me to do, pass the physical, and you know, get to the fight. And the first time that I've actually like moved and thrown punches and pivoted off of hooks without the brace on was the fight night. Because I'm like, I don't want to flag, you know, I don't want to show that I already had this injury, because then I'd kind of be screwed. And then now I just kind of accept it for what it is, that when I get back, I'm going to sit there and try to rehab this injury the best way that I can. So I'm gonna send you like I said, I'm gonna send you the MRI that I took on the 6th of June to show that I had what I had. But honestly, if it wasn't for my girlfriend, which she's actually right here, we're going to Italy for my buddy's wedding. If it wasn't for my girlfriend helping me out, she was like getting 10 bags of ice for me every day, helping me take ice baths, do the physical therapy that I needed to do. I was bike riding like 10 miles because to be honest with you, I think like what really saved my knee is my fucking bicycle and the ice baths. So I did what I could, and then I knew that fighting Yuli, like the one weapon that I wanted to be able to rely on was punching power, which I didn't have as much as I would want for the Boswick fight because I was a little bit lighter. I was a little bit weaker because I had a staph infection that week, and I actually had a fracture on one of my fingers going down the middle that I crushed in between two dumbbells like a dumbass, 2 weeks before the fight. So I'm like, somebody like Yuli, if you can't make the guy respect you, he's just going to walk all over you. So I knew the one thing that I wanted to be able to rely on was obviously my output, my volume, which I'm never going to not have, and punching power. So thankfully, I was able to cook up a pretty good game plan, and I was able to execute it against Yuli Saturday night to the best of my ability. But I kept telling everybody, I don't know if you remember, but the fight with Cutter, I was telling everybody, oh, this is gonna be performance of the night, and I go out there and it ended up being fight of the night. So this time around, I'm telling everybody it's gonna be fight of the night, fight of the night, fight of the night. And it's also because I respect Yuli so damn much. He pushed me to the brink of exhaustion, past my limits in training camp every single day because I knew what he had to offer. I knew how heavy his hands were. I knew how hard of a puncher he was. I knew the dog that he was. I knew that guy would just not fucking quit until there was a gun to his head. So it was more respect for Yuli knowing that, listen, to go in there and think that I'm just going to jump in there and smoke this guy, it's cute, but it's more than likely not going to go down that way. But I was ready for hell. I went in there and I'm just kind of like, bro, whatever happens, happens. I'm ready to go 20 minutes, fucking 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 80 minutes, 100 minutes. I'm ready for the belt to just not ring and me and him just fight to the death.
That cut that he got, man, was intense. That cut, I saw that shit up close, and it was.
So people were
ugly.
saying that it was a jab. That cut didn't come from a jab. That cut actually came because he caught me with a really nice hook to the nose. I threw a jab and he was able to kind of like slip it, and as he slipped it, threw a hook, and it mitigated the distance. And he called me, and I look at him and I go like this, and you can see it in the slow-mo video. So right when he comes in, I was able to catch him with Al Encuentro, with a right hand right when he's coming in. And that right hand was short, but that's the one that opened the cut above his eyebrow. The jab opened up the one underneath, and then the right hand's the one that opened up the one above his eyebrow. And he kind of fell into the ropes. The ropes, I think, prevented it from being a knockdown because it almost looked like he slipped because it came really fast. But that's the one that did the damage. And then after that, I just kept hitting the same spot. I don't know if it's because he was slipping that way or what, but it was easy to use that blood, that little scar as a bullseye. So I just kept going for it. And, knocked them down twice after that. And then they called the fight, which, to be honest with you, I'm kind of happy that it went that way because me and him didn't face any serious injuries, any big concussions. My hand's a little fucking swollen, but I did an X-ray. I'll take that any day of the week, So I did an X-ray and the hand's fine. So
the crowd was electric, man. I was talking to a lot of people right, leading up to your fight with Yuli. A lot of people were excited. A lot of people were like, yo, this is going to be a great fight. It's a toss up, because two different styles,
Yep.
But yeah, I think, it looked like you had the better hand in the beginning, of the fight, leading up to the end, the doctor stoppage. Based on what I saw, it looked like he was getting hurt. And we know Yuli's got a crazy heart. He's going to keep coming like a lion, just like you.
Yep.
But it looked like you were winning already. So I think it was a good call by the doctor, only because that cut was, it was nasty, dude.
Yeah, it was. And it was bleeding right in the eye too.
Yeah, doctor's got to do his job, man. So I felt bad for Yuli because I respect him too, and I know that man will fight to the end. But you're the champ now, bro. You're the champ. It's so interesting how things happen because we went from talking about you're the overlooked guy in the division. They're talking about all these names, and you're the only undefeated guy in the division. Thiago leaves. Then they're talking about Perry and Yuli, and then boom, you and Yuli for the belt, and now the rest is history, bro. You're the champ.
So you know what's crazy to kind of like touch up on what you said, and I apologize, brother. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good, bro.
But they were there was such a list of names that went through. So from what I heard, Richmond wanted to fight Tiago. This is what I heard, by the way. I'm not putting any words in anybody's mouth. I can only relay the conversations that I have with the BKFC brass, because the people that are at the top of the division, me, Yuli, and Richmond, are the ones that I respect the most. You know, and not to say that I don't respect the other guys in the division, but um, obviously I have a shit ton of respect for Yuli. But Richmond was supposed to fight Tiago after his performance. That didn't come to fruition. Then I'm like, all right, well, I come to find out from Nate that Yuli and Perry are probably fighting at the Hard Rock. And I'm like, dude, that's fine. Let them fucking fight. Tiago doesn't want to fight me, and he doesn't want to fight Richmond. It looks like me and Richmond are both missing a dance partner. Why don't you just make the fight between me and Richmond? I didn't want to fight Yuli. You know, me and Yuli are boys. And, like, I get that in this business, you're going to have to fight eventually. But if we could try not to, we would not to. And then if me and him both beat Richmond and Perry, then it's obviously us for the belt next. So then all of a sudden they come back, and Richmond's manager tells us that tells Nate that he's too heavy, so he can't make weight. So it was such a long list of names. All of a sudden now Perry is taken up. He's going to London. So then Yuli ended up being the last guy. So I just asked Nate, I'm like, listen, bro, if there's one person that deserves it, it's him. The person they were trying to give me for the title fight was somebody that I had never fucking heard of before. He wasn't even in the ranks. He wasn't even in the top five. And they're saying, oh, he's 3-0. I looked him up. The guy had 2 fights in bare knuckle. And it wasn't even
You don't remember the
BKFC.
name?
Like, fuck, man. I want to say Dallas something. Dennis. That's my reaction. And no disrespect to the guy. I don't know, man. Like, I'm just being as honest as I can be, man. I didn't know who the guy was. So they gave us this guy, and I was just like, all right, well, how the fuck does this make any sense? You know, there's a rat race of people to fight for the title. If Yuli's missing a dance partner, then me and him will get to fight. So that's really how this fight came to fruition. Richmond, the one thing that he threw out of left field that kind of curveballed me was he made a post saying nobody's a champion until they fight me, and I'm just kind of like, all right, bro. Again, here we go, delegitimizing the belt. I have a shit ton of respect for Richmond because I hold people that were in the forces near and dear to my heart. I've worked with a lot of people that were in the forces. I actually shared a jail cell with somebody that was in the Marine Corps for 6 months, and I learned his ways, his disciplines, and he's somebody that I consider a really close friend. So a lot of my really close friends, they were in the Corps, so I got a lot of respect for Richmond also because he's a really good fighter, man. I like watching Richmond fight. I'd be lying if I told you that I didn't watch his fights even before me and him were slated to be fighting for each other soon. So I like him, and I like the way that he fights. I was just kind of pissed off. I'm like, yo, hold on, man. Wait for us to win.
Exactly.
Wait for somebody to win and then be like, okay, you know, like this guy or that guy. But to be like, oh, you know, like Yuli or Frank, Frank hasn't fought anybody. Fair enough. I get it. You know, it wasn't malicious. You know, it wasn't necessarily him like talking shit about me, but at the same time, like, you know, don't take shine away from the belt, because then you're pretty much delegitimizing something that you're going to be fighting for yourself.
Exactly. Good point, bro.
You know,
but yo, after that fight, Richmond gets in the ring, and that's when I'm like, all right, you know, let's see what's up now, because you know, I had a feeling you guys were going to be civil. I didn't think it was going to get crazy. But you know, Richmond is known now to go out and just he'll say what's on his mind, you know. So I like the fact that, you know, you guys showed each other respect. That's really cool. But it was cool to see you guys interact in the ring. Do you think that's going to be the next fight, or do you think because him and Lorenzo Hunt got beef, you think Bkfc is going to go for that? What do you think?
So here's the thing, man. I never chose who I fought ever. Whenever Nate came to me with Maxwell, I didn't want to fight Maxwell. I wanted to fight somebody that was higher up in the ranks because I wanted to make up for lost time. Didn't happen. So I just came to terms with the fact that I don't choose who I fight. Never turned anybody down. Definitely never turned somebody down because they were a tough fight. I'm definitely not going to start now. Now that I'm the champion, the job gets even easier because now the BKFC brass tells me who I fight. I only want to know how much I get paid. The only thing that I'm gonna negotiate is that, but it's not based on who I'm fighting. I don't give a flying fuck if I'm fighting Richmond, if I'm fighting fucking whoever the hell they put in front of me. Before their names even come up, I just want to sit down and be like, listen, I've almost died for you guys. I sell out when you guys come down here. Palomino was number 1, but I was a strong number 2 with ticket sales. The next person behind us was like, actually no, the next person behind us was Blake Davis. He was like a strong number 3 too, but I sell the fuck out. I want to get paid, you know. I want the next fight that I have to at the very least, man, make it so that I don't need to work as hard as I need to work fight week. Is that too much to ask? You know? Um, so I don't choose who's gonna be next right now. Whoever the fuck they tell me to fight next is next. I would love to fight Richmond, and I would love to fight Richmond because people think that he's gonna get in there and smoke me. So I would love to go in there and then prove people wrong. There's a genuine fire that's lit under my belly when it comes to fighting Richmond because he's a tough son of a gun, because he's done what he's done in the sport, because he dethroned Cochran, which everybody thought was the bare knuckle legend, because of what he's done in the sport. I would love to fight. Richmond's been knocked out once, and it wasn't even a knockout. It was a TKO in Bellator. So I've got a lot of respect for what he's done. I actually saw him fight a long time ago. I don't remember which one of my friends was in Bellator. I don't remember if it was Vila or somebody else from our gym. But I remember seeing him fight, and then it all kind of came together when I saw him at bare knuckle, like who he was. So I would love to fight Richmond, but at the same time, I'm not gonna be upset if Richmond goes and fights Lorenzo Hunt. I couldn't give a fuck, but I definitely want to be active. I would love to get him the 2 fights in by the end of the year. Is it gonna happen? Maybe, maybe not. But if Richmond goes and fights Hunt, I'm gonna tune into that fight. I'll watch that fight. And if Richmond beats Hunt, which I think he will, but if he loses to Hunt, because Hunt is also not a slouch, if he loses to Hunt, I'm still gonna grant him a title shot because it's not up to me. It's up to the UFC brass, or sorry, BKFC brass. So regardless of whatever the fuck happens, he's earned his right to fight for a title at 175. So I couldn't give a flying fuck if it's now or if it's in 2 years. If I'm champion, 100% he can come and fight for the title whenever he wants, as long as I'm healthy. Like I said, this injury that I have it proved not to be an issue for this fight. It did give out on me in the fight, but not like bad. It just buckled on me the same way that it's been buckling on me the whole camp. I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to rehab it without having to do surgery, which I hope that I don't have to do surgery. But like I said, man, I'm ready to go. I want to be active. I want to fight. And I think Richmond is the most clear-cut guy at 175. Who the fuck else is there? You know, there's nobody else at 175 that makes 175, that fights at 175.
This is it right here, just so you could see it.
Oh, yeah.
So they got, obviously, Richmond's next in line, which I really think that really needs to – that's the fight that should happen. I get him
Agreed.
and Lorenzo got this thing going back and forth, but, let's stick to the original plan. Richmond's the winner of him in the Rickles fight. He gets the champ. So let's do this. You know what I mean? After that, I'm not taking anything away from Cedeno. He's 2-0, but I'd like to see
He fights
him fight.
at 65, though. I know Cedeno. I know Jordanis.
I'd like to see him fight more guys, bigger names, to just prove himself there. I think Rickles needs another win. I think against somebody before title shot, obviously, because and then you just fought you. So really, if we're looking at the top 5 ranked guys based on BKFC, really, you and Richmond really need to fight.
Yeah. I listen. I agree, and I'm not gonna be asking for big money fights or this guy or that guy or going up in weight to go for like 2 belts until I've paid my dues in my division. Right now that I am at the top and I'm holding on to this belt, there's a price to pay, and I have to be responsible, and I have to give everybody in the top 5, I have to give them their chance to get the shit beat out of them. So I will fight any and all oncomers, anybody that's ranked in the top 5 that BKFC tells me to fight, I will fight them. I'm not going to discriminate or say this guy hasn't done what he had to do. I could not give a shit. That is not my job. That is Nate's job. If he tells me, listen, you got to fight this guy, I will fight this guy. If people complain with me about who I'm fighting, I'm going to just direct them to Nate because it was his, reasoning. It was his matchmaking in the first place. So I don't know who I'm fighting next, but I would like to fight next. Surely. I mean, I just have a couple bruises, but nothing big. Obviously, it was a pretty short fight. So,
let me ask you this: we saw Palomino. He did great. He's the first ever double champ in BKFC. You're a pretty big guy. Would you ever consider bumping up to 185 and being a double champ yourself?
100%. Like that's kind of where I was getting at. I would love to fight Hunt, but at the same time, I think Hunt's got his hands full because he's trying to do the same thing. He's trying to go up to 205 and fight. Hopefully, he fights my brother Gustavo, and they run that one back. But as I could see, Hunt kind of has his hands full. But 100% is that what's on my mind. But before I do that, I can't just take the belt and be like, you know what, I'm going to hold it hostage, go up and fight. Palomino did what any model champion should do. He won the title. He defended it 2-3 times, fighting all undefeated guys on top of that. And then he went up and then challenged for a belt. That's exactly what my plan is. And then if Lorenzo Hunt is there, which I hope he is because everybody considers him the juggernaut and to be unbreakable or unstoppable. I would love to fight Hunt, but at the same time, like I said, I have to pay my dues in my division first. So without a doubt, that's on my mind. I mean, I want the challenges. I couldn't give a fuck about anything else. I just want to make sure my paychecks are right, and then my paychecks are right. The competitor in me takes over, man. I don't care about all the other whistles. I just want to be able to fight the toughest guys, and I want people to remember my name down the line. Everybody that's saying he's not going to beat Yuli, Yuli's going to cash in early on this one. Don't think that I don't see the comments. I see all the comments. I don't think that the Mike Perry fight's going to happen, obviously, because I think he's going to get smoked by MVP. And I don't think that MVP is going to be fighting bare knuckle after this fight, just because I think that it's a one and done deal because of the London card.
For sure.
So, let's see what happens in that fight. Who knows? Maybe he does want to come back and fight another fight. I'd more than happily fight MVP. Or Mike Perry somehow brings a gun inside the cage and shoots his foot and wins the fight. Then maybe it's me and Perry. But to be honest with you, I think that ship has sailed. I don't think that I could force a grown man to fight me if he doesn't want to fight me.
Well, I think, getting back to what you said about MVP, I think that's the unique thing about bare knuckle is that, it's not like other organizations where, they want you to sign a contract, multi-fights and all that. I think bare knuckle is that unique sport where somebody wants to try it out. They're just going to try it out for one and make a spectacle out of it, and I think that's probably
Absolutely.
what we're looking at in London. Should be a fun fight to watch, though, regardless.
Well, what I knew is there was another guy by the name of, I don't know if I'm going to get shit for saying this, I hope not, but Paul Daly was actually supposed to be the guy because he had his retirement fight in Bellator. So he was actually the guy that they were looking at for the fight in London. And then it ended up being MVP because Paul Daly, I guess, got injured or hurt his hand, his last fight, or his wrist, his last fight in Bellator. So that's why they ended up going with MVP. I'm not the kind of guy to call out other people. I respect everybody that gets in there. I don't like the people that like talk a lot of shit or talk a lot of crap, especially because it's kind of corny and cheesy. But I respect, dude. Even if I don't like you, like I'll tell you what. If Mike Perry actually knew how to fight and he wasn't actual trash, I would actually like tune in and watch him fight. I was a fan of some of the shit that he did in the UFC. I don't care if me and you are enemies or not. If I'm a fan of the way that you fight, I'm gonna watch you fight. It's a spectator sport, and I am a fan. Like on top of being an athlete, I'm also a fan. So. Like I said, all these guys and the animosity, I think the reason why me and Richman respect each other is because we both show up and fight. So I'll be damned if I'm sitting there and like trying to pick animosity. Don't get me wrong, I would love to punch someone in the face that I don't like over somebody like my friend Yuli. But at the same time, I'm not gonna sit there and try to force some shit that's not there, man. I couldn't care less. I've got other crap on my mind rather than trying to spark up some kind of high school beef with some idiot that, walks around with fucking colored hair.
Well, I think that you're going to be a busy guy, bro. You're the champ. Obviously, everybody's going to be coming for that belt. People are going to be trying to prove themselves in the middleweight division. Now, I think it's going to be you and Richman. If I'm a betting man, I'll place that bet right now happily. And I think you and Richman is going to be the next fight that's going to happen. So hopefully soon, hopefully in the next few months, we get to see that because I know Richman's due for a fight.
I would love to. Yeah, listen, man. Richman knows the deal. He knows that they're approaching for this fight. And he knows I'm not going anywhere. Whenever he wants a shot, it's his. I respect the shit out of him. I can't wait to fight somebody like Richman because people really think that Richman's going to walk through me. So I can't wait to just, shut people up again. I don't like when people are saying, Frank's going to smoke this guy or Frank's going to just get in there and get out. Because then they don't really give you anything to achieve. If you're expected to win and you're expected to beat somebody, now it's just kind of like, all right, well, if you go in there and you don't look impressive, now it's, you kind of look like shit if you don't smoke the guy that you're fighting. But if you're fighting somebody that you're supposed to lose against, now they're actually giving you some kind of challenge, something to win. So Richmond is definitely the toughest guy in that division. Like that's in line for the title right now. So we'll see what happens. But I would watch him fight Lorenzo Hunt too, man. I couldn't care less. I'm gonna wait for the phone to ring and see Nate's name pop up on the screen and tell me, listen, this is the guy you're fighting. So that's what's next.
All right, man. Well, I'm looking forward to
actually,
it.
First off, and I'm going to the motherland. I'm actually at the airport right now.
I was just going to ask you, where you heading? Motherland?
Yes, sir. Italy, baby. I'm going, my boy's getting married in Puglia. And then I'm going to head to Rome and bring that belt to the Coliseum.
Oh, dude, take some gnarly pictures with that belt in the Coliseum, bro. Modern day gladiator. Yeah. Yo, I just want to say, not because me and you are boys, bro. You know that, and
Of
always
course.
got to keep it professional on camera. But I just want to tell you one thing, bro. As a fellow Paisan, an Italian, I'm so proud that we have an Italian world champion in bare
Thank you.
knuckle, first ever, man. So proud of you, bro. Thank you for everything that you've done. Always keeping it classy and being a true champ, man. I can't wait for you to defend that belt, brother.
Thank you, my brother. It's coming soon.
Hell yeah. Well, safe travels to the motherland, bro. Enjoy it. Take care of that knee, and let's get up
You
when
got
you
it,
get
bro.
back, brother.
You got it, my brother.
Peace, bro.
Joe, you're the man.
You the man, brother. Thank you. That's a wrap, my guy. Francesco Ricchi, first ever Italian Bkfc middleweight bare knuckle champion. That's my guy. So yeah, that's about it. Pre-recorded episode, trying some new things, trying to get more interviews in, really. And I think the pre-recorded is the best way because I could be more flexible with time and also conscious of other people's time as well. I will still do lives probably with fighters that I've never spoken to before. I just want to give them that extra time. We could talk, get to know one another, do the interview, and people could, of course, have some fun with it. Fighters that I already know, have established relationships with, and we want to get right down to the nitty gritty of things. I'm going to start doing more stuff like this. So see how it happens. See what happens. Yeah, see if it works. See if you guys like it. I happen to like it. So cool. With that being said, peace out, everybody. I'm done. I'm tired. Time to drop a gummy.